Welcome to my YouTube channel. It's Eniola Shodipe. Thank you for joining. Thank you for watching. I am very grateful. And for my last video, thank you for the views. I'm very grateful. Please do not forget to subscribe, to like, to comment, to share. It would really go a long way. Thank you very much. So in my last video, I was talking about, or I was telling us how I'm going to share my experience with us. And it's simply how I met my husband, or how I knew he was the one 7 years before he came. It's quite a very funny story. It's a very funny story. However, we'll dive into it without wasting so much of our time. Just please stay with me for the next few minutes. There are so many things to talk about, so many things in between. I just pray that God helps, and then he ministers to the lives of people. All right, so how I knew it was my husband 7 years before he came was quite a very funny story, because 7 years before he came, I was still in secondary school, and it wasn't something I was thinking about. Marriage was not something I was thinking about. So I was just very like, why are you telling me this, right? So it was just a very funny thing that played out. I was in church. There's this children church and the adult church, but we happened to come upstairs, like the adult church, and then, I don't know, I think we had one combined service or so. So where I sat down, praises was going on, and I think I sat down, and then, or probably praises just ended, one of them. But I was sitting, I can remember where I was sitting down that particular service, and then I just heard turn. I turned, and instantly I sighted him. Instantly, like, was more like turn and see this person. You get? So by the time I sighted him, and I was wondering, okay, that is him, that's the man. I was pretty young, and I felt that's the man. Okay, like, what should I do with this information? Number one, I wasn't willing, of course, as at that time I was so conscious about myself. I was so conscious about my name. Like, there was one thing they taught us, good name. Like, I didn't want my name to be all tied up in, oh, she had God that she went to go and meet one man and tell the man that you're my husband, that kind of a thing. So I was extremely conscious at that young age. I was extremely conscious about that. When I heard that, I didn't share it with anybody for quite a while. I only shared it with my sister, and over the years, there was this particular brother of mine that kept telling me, but I don't think I expressly told him that I knew 7 years. Every time he mentions this, I'm like, I'll just dust it off. One good part was that he wasn't a regular person at church. What do I mean? He was a boarder in secondary school, then university. He got admission immediately, went to a private university, and you didn't get to see him for a very long time. And after university, he had this offshore job, and then he went offshore for a very long time, and then that kind of a thing. I think one of the things that really helped was that was not around thing. It was more like a blessing in disguise, and one thing over the years, I think it's really helped me in a long time. And also, I was not so conscious about it. I wasn't in for it yet, so I was not putting my mind, though it was looking like was a waiting period after a couple of years. And then I'm like, will it ever happen? When God says something at times, and then you're just year one, year two, you understand that you're still pretty young. You finished university, and then it's looking like nothing is happening. In fact, I could literally say that the story was the same thing as what happened, Mary, when the angel told Mary that she was going to give birth to the Son of God, and then he said, how can this thing be? I think that was the same scenario with me. Like, this, did I mention that this particular person, as at that time, we were never talking. We never had any cause to talk. Never ever. For over 25 years, we never spoke. Yes, we were born in the same church, but we never spoke. It never crossed his mind, never crossed my mind, because I was all up on, he must be the one. Even if God has told me that, I felt it must be the one that would come and meet me, not me going to go and meet him, you know. And that's actually one of the danger of this. Oh, my brother, oh, a brother sees, okay, this lady is for me, and then now quickly go and jump and all of that. You must understand God's timing. God has told you, why not wait? I think that was one of the reasons, one of the things God taught me, the waiting time. The waiting time, it wasn't looking like it. It wasn't looking like it at all, and I mean it. Like, it wasn't looking like we're ever going to talk, because we were 2 words apart. It wasn't looking like I would ever meet him coincidentally on the road or something. So I was like, how would this thing be? I went on with my life. I got busy with my life, because it was so important to me to get busy with my life. And I didn't want to carry the weight of, oh, God told me, so it has to be, so I need to make sure it happens and all of that. I was not in his face. In fact, he said he didn't even know I was existing, funny enough. So that that to start with. He didn't know that I was existing, even if he knew, oh, I've spoken to your sister a couple of times. Your sister and I were quite friends and all of that, but it wasn't even crossing his mind. It was that bad. So it wasn't looking, my reality was different from what God has said many years ago. My reality was different. So at some point, you know, I'll trust God, and sometimes you just feel, God, you know it's not going to happen, so just leave me the way I am, like, you know. And I can remember, throw back to a particular time, I was 7, that was 2016, yes, I think around November, December. And then I was just going through Instagram and all of that, and I saw the episode you wrote about this girlfriend. I think they were doing 2 years, and I am somebody that respects relationship a lot. I respect it a lot for whatever reason. Having to do 2 years, like, I've never done 1 year. So when I hear people do 2 years, it's always like, this one is a done deal. Like, it wasn't. Well, that was what I thought all along. So when I saw they were celebrating 2 years, I was like, oh, God has finally moved on. God has finally moved on and all of that. The only thing I remember that I did was to pray. That was all I did. I just prayed, and then I also moved on. Yeah, I went into another relationship and all of that because of what I saw. So I felt, God, you have moved on. Don't even deceive me. You know, that kind of a thing. We'll get to that place where we just feel weary because of what we are seeing that is not looking like what he has said. All right, so I can remember being in that relationship, and at some point, it's the way God deals with me is quite weird. It's totally weird. At some point, I started seeing that the covering over my head was off. I didn't have any covering. I was going out. It was more like I was going out naked. There was no covering. So I knew there was something wrong with that relationship that I had to cut off. And then what was kind of painful. If you know me, I have the small stature, you know, that's tendency. If I tell people my height, they will not even know that I'm that old or that's young rather. You know, I'm pretty small, so you would hardly even know that this person is not a very, very, very young person as I thought. At 20, 24, 25, people were thinking I was 15, 16, 17. Was that funny? All right, so I had to go through that phase of, okay, at this point, if I cut off this relationship, will I even find any other person? Like, what is wrong with me? I've never been in a relationship for a year. Yes, I have never. So it's just it's just very funny. I felt I had a problem. Like, once I just sensed that there's something wrong, I call it off very fast, and that's it. So I just went out of that relationship, and I'm like, God, I am all yours, you know, whatever you want to do. At this point, I'm just, and I can remember when I got back from service, fast track to when I got back from service 2017, I think around May, and then I was just all up on, I want to do my work. Thank God for godly parents that saw ahead about the career, the choice of career, and then I already know that this is what I was going to do. So I was ready to pursue it passionately and professionally. So when I got back from service, I was just so enthusiastic about getting customers, and then I just started meet after service. That it was a Sunday service, yes. After service that day, I just came downstairs. Please, I make cakes. Please come and buy. I make cakes. Please come and buy. I make cakes. That was how I was going round, and I just stopped at this. I was passing, and then I just stopped at this car, and I'm like, I make cakes. Please come and buy for your girlfriend. I remember that I saw in 2016 that he had a girlfriend. So I went to meet him and said he should come and buy a cake for his girlfriend. You know, and it was like, oh, okay. He gave me one very weird reception. The guy is proud. I knew him to be proud, you know. But now it's changed. Maybe because I didn't know him so well. So I felt, what kind of proud nature person is this one? So I just went to him and said, please come and buy a cake. And thankfully he said, please give me your contact. If I need cake, I'll let you know. So that was it. So after that time, it was not as if we spoke. It was not even looking like something was going to happen. It wasn't looking like it. You know, I just felt that God saying something sometimes, or many times, sometimes, many times, there's something called timing to it. Like I mentioned earlier, waited for 7 years. I can say it's a waiting period. Anybody that knows me knows that I'm not a very, very patient person. If I want something done, we go head on with it, we finish it, we get out of it, and that's how I've been dealing. That's just the way I just grew up, right? You want something done, you get going with the job, you finish it, you move ahead. So when I have to wait, it's usually not comfortable for me. Right. So I think one of the things God taught me was the waiting period. Was just a waiting period. Because I trusted God at some point. I trusted God. But my reality was a different thing. So I was just trying to wrap my head around everything. We all went our separate ways. That should be sometimes in May. And then in July, he reached out to me and told me, I want a cake. And I'm like, sorry, I'm in camp. I went to camp. I'm in camp. I cannot attend to the order. So he said, oh, okay, that's fine. Okay, when next he has order. And next time he had order, there was no order till like December. However, he reached out to me sometimes in September, October, and then you didn't check up on me, and I'm like, check up on you from where? How? I don't understand. We've not even spoken since the time you asked for cake in July. So how are you supposed to be part of the people I'm checking up on, you know? And then we just got talking from there. In December, he ordered so many cakes. So many cakes for friends, for different people. He ordered so many cakes, and that was how we started talking. Even in the midst of coming around to talk, to chat, and all of that. And the following year, it was all up on, okay, what's up? How are you doing? I knew it was coming. At the same time, I was also checking with God that, God, are you sure we can also proceed at this point? You know, God just has a way of orchestrating things. I wouldn't, in my wildest dream, thought that was come and buy cake that would ever make us have a conversation. I would not. In fact, I can't even say that there could have been something else. Maybe there could have been something else, but I can't really tell myself that there could have been something else that could have brought us to that talking terms. We were born in same church, so it wasn't looking like a total stranger, even if it was a stranger to me. And it was just a very different ball game. And I just want us to also see it from this light. Having to waiting at times many times is not pleasant. It's not, because I can remember with the season when I saw the entire epistle, I call it epistle, that when he wants to write letters like that, when he wants to send love letters, it's always very long, you know, those epistles. And you just, How can somebody be in love and then you just want to come and scatter the entire? That was the idea I had in my head then, and I just felt no. At this point, I think he has moved on. God has moved on, and let's move on with God. But God had a different plan. God had a different plan, and that's why it's just needful that we trust God. I can remember having to share this at our pre-marriage counseling or premarital counseling, and then they were asking me a series of questions. How was I able to wait? How was I how was I able to maneuver all those phases? And if I don't know myself, I really do not, but I just feel that God has a plan. God has a plan. God, he had a plan, he has a plan, you know, and God just helped me during that entire phase. I got busy. I think it was service year that got me close to reading books. During my service year, you know, all these secondary school teachers, during holiday, I just all there, nothing to do. I started reading different books. Marriage, parenting, relationship. My diary, a very big diary, is full of summaries of, because I don't like reading without writing summaries. So it's full of summaries of different books. So it was really a preparation time for me. Even after service was really a preparation time for me. While I was praying, while I was reading, while I was talking to God, and part time I just saw God's hands, even if it was looking like it was taking too long. Yes, because 7 years is not looking like a beans. No, not beans. It's not beans. It's not looking like something I can just talk in person. But during that period, it wasn't something you could have talked in person. It was serious. It was a serious time. So for whoever is in that waiting period, whoever is in that state of God told me this, and my reality is not saying it. Hold on. I'm a testifier. I'm a testimony of that. Hold on to God. Be in tune with God. I can remember I could have been married like 2 years before. I could have been married 2 years before I got married, or you know, I could have been married earlier, but because I wanted to marry at 23 and wasn't looking at like it, so I could have just done something, you know. But having godly parents too helps a lot. I can remember giving my mom somebody. I told her about someone, and she said, no, that's not the person. Oh boy, I cried my life out because I really liked this person. The person. So I was like, no, you can't tell me that, because what God told me wasn't looking like it. It wasn't even, it wasn't close. And my mom mentioned something, and you're like, wait. I'm on waiting period. It's not being so. It's not being so. I just had to wait. And to God be the glory. Now, I just have to give God the entire glory. God helped in ways in which I cannot explain. Marriage has its own challenges, but with God, those challenges, God just helps you. It teaches you through them. I can literally say that every challenge I've happened to go through, or we have happened to go through in this 1 year, praise God, today is my 1 year anniversary. I'm so grateful to God about that. In this 1 year, He has helped us. I have received help. My husband has received help. You know, something happened, and then you've been in that state of the Holy Spirit teaching you what to do, exactly what to do per time. That could only have been God. God is our advantage. Let's take advantage of God. Let's I don't know how people that are going to marriage without God, I don't know how they do it, but trust me, it's not worth it. It's not worth the stress. It's not worth the energy and everything you want to put together. It's not worth it. Doing marriage God's way, doing marriage according to what God has designed it to be, is rewarding, is more than rewarding enough. Even in the face of whatever it might be, God will still see you through, God will pull you through, and then you will be amazed at what He will do. So thank you for joining me today. Remember, God's timing is still the best. It's still the very best. It's not a cliche. It's still the best. So let's hold on to God as regards marriage. Trust God. Trust God. Let Him lead you. Let Him be your guide. Let Him be your God. Trust Him. Like, there is no better thing than that. Trust Him totally, because He will not leave you. He will not leave you. He will not forsake you. So we cannot do marriage outside God. Please, I'm begging us. For singles, wait on God. Let God minister life to you. Let God teach you. Let God tell you. For marriage, please do marriage God's way. It's rewarding, and you'll be amazed. You'll be amazed. Thank you for joining today. I'm very grateful. God bless you. Please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I am very grateful to have you. Thank you. Do have a wonderful time. Bye.